I suppose my philosophy on education is underpinned by drawing out what's in the learners' minds and to a degree in their hearts, tapping into their passions through what we construct in terms of the learning that we design, and just using our curiosity to foster and nurture their curiosity. So asking lots of questions and then getting to a place where you're sort of handing over the baton, where they're asking the questions of you and they're making demands on you of your expertise and your knowledge, so that they can then construct their own understandings of the world and their own understanding of where they fit in, who they are and their sense of place. The thing that's distinctive about the way that I approach things, and it's very me, is probably the influence that coaching's had on how I've grown and developed as a learner and as a teacher. And looking at things that are beyond the world, asking questions of them and about them, beyond the world of education. So not just taking a set of strategies and looking to just take them off the shelf and do them as read and then looking for the next one, but actually looking at opportunities for us to create new knowledge and create new ways to teach and learn, and drawing that learning from a wide range of sources. So from industry, from looking at how designers think, from how artists think and learn and develop, and then looking at those kinds of ideas and processes and systems that we use and bringing those into the classroom. Because if it works in the classroom, then the chances are it will work for the organisation, and vice versa. So if it works in an organisation like Google, for example, where they give things like 20% time because they believe that autonomy should underpin their approach to how they get the best out of the people who work with them and work for them, then autonomy needs to be in our classrooms. And I guess my interest is saying, okay, well, that's all well and good, but what does that actually look like in the classroom, and how can we deliberately design opportunities for learners to practice that, to make good choices without it feeling like we haven't got any control at all, but actually working with them to make those choices so that they drive their own learning. I think at the end of working with a teacher, what I hope that they will go away with is that feeling that you get, that you think, oh, that is sort of the brain hurting bit. And I used to have this when I worked full time with students as well. That idea that you know, they used to go out to lessons and say, oh, my brain really hurts. You really made me think. And I guess we always want that. And actually, humans are really good at that. We're quite hungry for that kind of a feeling. So when I've worked with teachers, whether it's in one-to-one sessions or whether it's small groups, action research groups, which I use quite a lot as a process, it's about drawing out what's in them already, building on what already exists. So not making huge sweeping changes, but actually thinking about what you're already doing and making just the odd adjustment. And sometimes the odd adjustment can be the way in which you view something that's happened that you've taken for granted for, you know, the last year or so, and you thought, actually, does that really work? And if it does, how can I do more of it? And if it doesn't, how might I just do something differently that changes it? So I guess the work that I do is around drawing those ideas out from teachers so that they're actually in control of their own learning in the same way that students are, that pupils are. And the methods that I use are really to focus in on asking good quality questions of ourselves, to become more reflective as practitioners, and to bring that into the classroom, so that even in a classroom situation when you're teaching a lesson, you can for 5 minutes set up an activity so that you're an observer and you're observing the learning, you're watching what's happening, you're asking questions about where the learning is actually happening well and maybe where you need to intervene, and making sure that intervention really counts.